might end up giving us
True that, but
something that we don't want. And when we're talking about diversity, you do it in the casting of the film.
Yet again could wind up giving us something that we don't need. And while we're discussing variety, you do it in the projecting of the movie with Matt Damon, and a more intensive gander at his renowned kinship and expert joint effort. With Ben, he would really give them the things he would let them know he would give them, so he'd say hello. You I will make Joe Rogan has strikingly assumed the job of an industry informant, as of late unveiling a few exciting experiences that have sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Known for his ability in mixing the pot, Rogan has dove headfirst into the baffling universe of Hollywood, revealing insight into some eyebrow-raising associations that pushed entertainer Matt Damon to uncommon levels in media outlets. Everything felt like an intricate, peculiar execution, with individuals playing their parts like wasps in an inquisitive play. Rogan is saving no punches as he's equipped for certain hazardous disclosures. Point decisively at high-profile figure Matt Damon. These disclosures recommend that Damon might have been caught in a perplexing trap of Hollywood interest that reaches out a long ways past the domain of breathtaking gatherings and wanders into a problematic moral area. We should dig further into the subtleties. Obviously, before we go any further, ensure first that you buy into our station and hit that notice chime for additional updates and recordings like this. Presently, we should make a plunge as per Rogan. A few entertainers follow strange ways to become popular, and they're willing to do nearly anything for distinction. Rogan portrays what is happening where becoming well-known implies observing guidelines that would make your grandmother. Humiliated people with great influence held command over these entertainers, and they showed it when the entertainers were around them. Joe Rogan doesn't stay away from extreme subjects, and this time he's coming to an obvious conclusion, connecting Matt Damon to a horrible embarrassment in the business. Put his feet up to a different line, and he would do that for 8 hours. Simply get up one for 5 minutes and sit back. You presumably recollect the horrendous story of Harvey Weinstein and how he made a culture of abuse in Hollywood. Rogan is by all accounts uncovering the whole organization of this dreadful climate now, and Matt Damon assumes a huge part in the story. Rogan proposes that Weinstein enticed youthful VIPs with enormous commitments. He had a ton of impact in the business in the past. Before he was indicted, it appears to be that numerous youthful gifts made it a point to manages him. Anyway, these commitments of popularity and fame accompanied an upsetting condition: investing energy alone with Weinstein. While it seemed like Harvey Weinstein was broadly appreciated in the business, the truth in the background was undeniably really upsetting. Numerous entertainers, including Matt Damon, searched him out for a fast profession, help planning to work with the best chiefs. No inquiries posed to that is what is happening we're managing here in And afterward I would say, thanks to God, I wasn't hitting Julie. You find about yourself. Well, you're acting great. That is all there is to its abouts. Currently hang on close, since it's going to get significantly more fantastic. Joe Rogan claims that a portion of these entertainers, all kinds of people, obliged it and got exceptional therapy from Weinstein, moving from being his mannequins to turning into his believed partners and mystery guardians. It's a stunning story of control that ends trapped everybody in Hollywood, including insider facts, trickery, and strategic maneuver. And apparently Matt Damon was one of the mid-ones to take advantage of this chance to serve the news tycoon in return for notoriety. While there may be different elements affecting everything, Joe Rogan didn't uncover a tad of data. He drew out the entire story. He set it up's unstable. Now, we should jump into the central parts in this snare of misleading and control. Matt Damon, the notable Hollywood star, saw his vocation skyrocket because of his cooperation with Harvey Weinstein on the famous film Generosity. Hunting Damon co-composed the content with his companion, Ben Affleck. Deep-rooted companions acquaint themselves with the world on spring 23, 1998. In the wake of winning the Oscar for their enthusiasm, this job moved Damon to distinction, and he transparently recognized that a critical piece of his prosperity was owed to Weinstein's help a presence that directed consideration in any room Weinstein supporting, alongside her remarkable content procured Matt, and their most memorable foundation grant. For Best Unique Screenplay, sending off their vocations, now Joe Rogan is proposing that the connection among Weinstein and these male entertainers could have been more going on under the surface. Rogan indicates a curved transaction of desire and individual trade-off that Matt Damon could have needed to explore to arrive at. The zenith of fame picked by the business magnate, assuming a sense of ownership with one's activities, can prompt self-improvement. Yet the story doesn't end here. Apparently, Matt Damon took extraordinary measures to keep his star sparkling brilliantly in Hollywood. Some other time, when charges against Harvey Weinstein became known, Damon openly conceded that he knew about a few examples of wrongdoing. In a meeting, the entertainer basically protected his tutor. This disclosure didn't profoundly shock him or the people who had worked intimately with Harvey. So he'd say, "Hello, I will make you a star." Had it set up where this was the way you got by this, is the way you made films. This is the way you need to be. That was essentially all we knew. And it didn't shock anybody when you caught wind of Harvey Weinstein. It was like, well, obviously, he's known for his way of behaving with ladies. Yet Joe Rogan was attempting to reveal insight into an unavoidable culture of quiet in Hollywood, one that was much more multifaceted than a drama unexpected development. As per Rogan, Matt Damon wasn't on a similar side as Harvey Weinstein. He teamed up with the film magnate, as well as she protected him from his violations, purportedly. This is the way he got his different jobs. You get a lovely young lady. And it's perfect. You don't need to stress over it. Individuals would be insulted like, well, how am I going to have control over this man on the off chance that I have no control over now? Apparently, one more veneer of genuineness and honesty has disintegrated even with truth. Individuals, via virtual entertainment, are communicating their failure in Matt Damon and different superstars who appear to be driven by their craving for magnificence and notoriety. As one individual remarked, some hold on to such a craving to be rich and renowned, they'll do the most insane things just to acknowledge it was not worth the effort. Miserable, what individuals want, not understanding the awful cost. And another client added, you've heard entertainers say Hollywood is a grimy business, and they were able to do anything it took to get the brilliant ring. Is it worth the effort anyway, in the event that you accept that Matt Damon expected to fall in line with Harvey Weinstein? In the midst of the sad charges, you may be astounded to discover that the entertainer picked an alternate way to protect himself from possible reaction. As opposed to staying quiet, he proactively drew in with the circumstance by revealing insight into an occurrence, including Gwyneth Paltrow and Weinstein. This disclosure left Paltrow profoundly stunned, especially charming that Damon declared that he had never examined this matter with Paltrow. As the entertainer said, "I never conversed with Gwyneth about it. Ben told me, yet I realize that they had come to anything arrangement or understanding. They had come to, she had dealt with it. She was the primary woman of Miramax, and he treated her unquestionably, deferential, consistently." This disclosure prompts huge requests about complicity and quietness inside the domain of Hollywood. Could Damon's prudent methodology have been propelled by a craving to try not to disturb his relationship with a strong figure who assumed a crucial part in his climb to fame? It's similar to a genuine Hollywood thrill ride. We're keeping up with quiet turns into the expensive passage into the business, more elite classes. Such activities bring up issues about the elements at play. In the diversion world, what do you believe is everybody? I figure everybody did. Every one of the folks to Matt Damon's evident naivete stands apart, as it appears to be that he might have handily demonstrated his innocence, assuming he really accepted he didn't have anything to conceal in 2017. Another disturbing record arose, further inferring that Damon might have gone about as Weinstein's own friend. This time it rotated around claims of Damon endeavoring to stifle a story, including Weinstein's supposed exploring for casualties in Italy. The entertainer confronted a rush of analysis and fervently denied any inclusion, guaranteeing he had no earlier information on the story's substance or expectations. They were calling me to vouch for this leader. They were calling me to say that they knew the person they spent time with him in Italy. And he appeared as though a hero, he said, distraught Damon's validity, seems to have been dissolved by a progression of sketchy explanations, and Skep distrust about his blamelessness has become boundless. The tension and examination from figures like Joe Rogan might prompt further disclosures about Damon's activities, possibly revealing insight into any undisclosed wrongdoing anyway. It's quite significant that for the time being there is by all accounts a specific degree of recognition and deference encompassing him regardless of the developing questions and worries about his way of behaving as Matt Damon attempts to shield himself and